Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to our session this evening, an evening with Wordsmith. We're celebrating Black History Month in February, and in commemorating that, we have a special guest tonight. I'll let James introduce him later on. Um, Before we get into the program, I'll just like to go over a few technical rules. Please have your microphone and video turned off. Um, just to save bandwidth. Also, if you have any questions, please type it out on the chat box and we will read that out loud. Um, and well, I'd like to welcome our Public Affairs Officer, James Rodriguez, and he'll introduce our guest tonight.
Hi, good evening, and obviously good morning to some of us on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. First, I want to start by thanking Wordsmith and his group over there for putting this together. ECA, the Education and Cultural Group at the Maine State Department in Washington, D.C., and our team here in Dar es Salaam at the embassy. And I also want to thank all the alumni and all our guests that showed up tonight for this concert. Just quickly, I wanted to mention why we're doing this. We're doing this as a celebration of Black History Month. Too often in the United States, the contributions of African Americans have been forgotten or not acknowledged. So the State Department really tries to highlight the contributions that different different groups have made to the culture, to the society, to business, every single aspect of American society. It's important for us to highlight that. So I want to just briefly, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Wordsmith so we can move on. So Wordsmith is a Baltimore-based songwriter, performer, entrepreneur, philanthropist. The guy is busy. If you get a chance, he tells you a little about himself, you'll be very impressed. So with that, on behalf of Ambassador Donald Wright and the U.S. Embassy, I present to you Wordsmith. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Everybody join us tonight from Tanzania. We appreciate having you in this virtual world. As you heard during the introduction, we'll have some questions, we'll have some interview time. We're also going to do a little bit of music for you. My brand of hip-hop is motivational hip-hop. It's to give you purpose in life, also politically driven a little bit at times as well. A little bit more about myself. I run an independent record label called New Revolution Entertainment. I have 5 artists signed to it from around the world. I have a punk rock band from Ukraine. I have an MC from Tunisia. I have my drummer / producer behind me, Chris Carroll. I have another MC from North Carolina, and I have a singer from Haiti that's on my label as well. And we specialize in songwriting, concerts like you're seeing right now, music licensing, and distribution. I also run a nonprofit called Rise with the Purpose, and we look to fund music programs, police reform, also youth sports sponsorships in regards to COVID-19 safety. And we just look to work in the community to work with the homeless to help feed the homeless as well. And currently we're actually working on a fundraiser to put the first, I would say, permanent music school in my city of Baltimore City. So that's the current program we're working on. And as you see, I love working with the youth and I love the culture exchange of doing these programs. I backtrack, laugh if you bout that, bend, but I won't crack. I'm going, I'm showing, I'm mind blowing. Moment that I'm open, I'm hoping the world coping. Can't lie and cheat, skip beat, skin deep. Look at me speak, the truth ain't cheap. I'm giving the best, never no hot man, so blessed. Give me the mic. Hometown, everybody stand up, hands up high. Everybody stand up, hands in the sky. Everybody stand up, time for the show. 3, 2, 1, go! Let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go. I know. In a black with the shades in a fade with a clap with the hats. Hands up, got 'em running with the mouth. Blabbing about how party like a frat house. Worldwide, all in the mood with a move and a groove. Too cool for the rules. Break bad, breaks on my tab. Give it again, but I give 'em hashtag. Everybody stand up, hands up high. Everybody stand up, hands in the sky. Everybody stand up, time for the show. 3, 2, 1, go! I'm loving the masses, loving my culture, loving my blackness. Give me a moment to talk and it's classic. Bigger the dreams, we live in Jurassic. Give us some axes, look at this atlas. African vibes, look at the track list. Positive karma, celebrate life. Add a few commas, Douglas, Tubman, Colin Obama, Martin Meyer, say it with honor. We never had limits, life of a Jordan, Lewis to Hendrix. Give me a moment to shine, give me a moment to open your mind. Give me a moment so I can get loud. I'm black and proud, I'm black and proud. I'm black and proud. Give me a moment so I can get loud, telling the world. I'm loving the feeling, loving the pride, I'm loving the healing, loving the rise, our love is appealing. Only the millions ready for kneeling, never no ceilings. Here in the moment, tell me who will win. Love is the real gem. Deliver a spark, painting a purpose. We give you this art, giving an ode to Oprah's heart. The Rosa Parks, we black and smart. I'm talking about making up all in the Jackson, say it with passion. Give me a moment to shine, give me a moment to open your mind. Give me a moment so I can get loud. I'm black and proud, I'm black and proud, I'm black and proud. Give me a moment so I can get loud, telling the world I'm black and proud. Give me that moment to shine, give me that moment to open your mind. Give me that moment so I can get loud. I'm black and I'm proud. Give me a moment to shine, give me a moment to open your mind. Give me a moment so I can get loud. I'm black and proud, I'm black and proud, I'm black and proud. Give me a moment so I can get loud, telling the world I'm black and proud.
Woo! Thank you. That was really good. Whenever you're ready, we have a couple of questions for you. I hope you can hear me.
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay. So the first question is, who are your biggest musical influences?
I really grew up on old school hip hop, so 90s hip hop, early 2000s. I was a big fan of Public Enemy just because, they talked a lot about racial inequality. They talked a lot about moving the black movement forward in our communities. I was a big fan of Redman, big fan of Eric B., Rakim. And another group that I was really loved was A Tribe Called Quest. So I know we got a lot of youth on here. So if a lot of these people I mentioned you don't know, I encourage you to please look them up because these are the pioneers of hip hop.
Okay. Another question is, who's your favorite rapper?
I would have to say Redman. That's my favorite rapper, and I always loved him because he's himself, which is the way I try to deliver my music is just be myself.
I'll need to look up Redman and listen to a couple of his songs. Um, so rap music tends to sample different genres. What genres of music do you enjoy listening to?
I like all music, and I would say one of my biggest, I would say music genres I love is jazz. Actually, I like chill music a lot. I like a lot of lo-fi instrumentals, and actually, one of my favorite bands is Coldplay and Metallica, which are
Oh,
nowhere close to the
nice.
hip hop music I do.
Yeah.
But I just really love all forms of music, and when you're a musician, I think it's important that you listen to a lot of different genres and not just your own.
So does Coldplay influence a lot of your music?
I would probably say on the message side, just because their lead singer, Chris Martin, he's a genius to me when it comes to writing music and he writes very deep lyrics. So I just try to
Mm,
do that with my music as well.
okay. So why did you decide to do inspirational rap?
Well, I just think, you have to decide what your lane's going to be. The hip hop profession, the music profession is very saturated with a lot of artists and musicians that are trying to make it. And the thing that separates you is, what do you stand for? What are you about? Are you trying to be a gimmick or are you trying to be about who you truly are? The way I deliver my music, the music you hear, the way I present myself, that's how I live my life every day. So I'm not trying to act or present a facade or anything crazy like that. I'm just literally trying to give you all of myself, which is I'm purpose driven, I'm motivated, and I like to help people. So I try to present that through my music.
Great. You are just being you. A question from Public Affairs Officer James. He's asking your current hip hop artist that you enjoy listening to.
Man, I don't listen to a lot of hip hop artists right now, to be honest. I like J. Cole a little bit. I like Kendrick Lamar some. I
Mm-hmm.
would say they more represent my style, my flavor when it comes to new school artists. And I'm not saying all the music's bad. Some of the music is good to just rock out to when you don't want to think about much. But again, I kind of grew up in the era where when artists would put music out, it was for a purpose. It was for a
Mm-hmm.
movement, or it was they were trying to put out music to, I would say, gain notoriety for an injustice that's been going on. So that's changed a lot of hip hop.
Okay, another question from Mike. What role does music play in your activism? How does music in general influence politics and social movements?
I would say, if just speaking about hip hop, hip hop is a culture, which is probably different from a lot of other genres with rock and pop music and even country. Hip hop is a culture from the way you dress, the way you talk. And as you know, hip hop has traveled around the world. You can go anywhere in the world and just look at the kicks someone's wearing or the clothes they got on and be like, you probably like hip hop. And that's just part of that culture. So I just think the culture side of things is what means a lot to me. That's what drew me into hip hop. Besides the music, was man, I really love this culture. I really love this community of different musicians coming together to be creative, but also create new fashion, new styles, new slang. So I
Mm,
just love the culture side.
okay. Have you ever been to Africa?
I've been 3 times actually.
What countries?
I've been to Cote d'Ivoire. I've been to
Uh-huh.
Namibia. I've been to Angola twice,
Any
and I've been to Djibouti as well.
any plans of coming to Tanzania?
I would love to. I'll be there right now if it wasn't for COVID, and we'll be doing this thing the right way.
Would
So
love to have you
I would
here.
love to. Yes, me too.
Okay, so how long have you been in the music industry?
I've been in it seriously, and I look at my career in stages. I've been in it seriously since 2009. That's when I opened up my label. That's when I actually started saying, hey, I want to make a living off of this. I want my kids to know me as a musician. I want the food that I put on the table, the clothes that I buy them, the shoes that they wear. I want to be from the money I make from my passion, which is music.
Mm. So the countries that you mentioned that you've been to here in Africa, did you go to perform there, or was it just like, did you go as a tourist, or what took you there?
It's all been music. And that's
Okay.
been a beautiful thing about it is, I get to go there and I get to meet so many great people, which is one of the biggest parts. But it feels good in my soul because I know my music, something that I built from scratch and I'm passionate about, is the thing taking me to these countries.
Um, where else have you been in the world? Like, what other country have you, apart from Africa, what other country have you played in?
I've been to Ukraine. I played concerts in Ukraine, Latvia, Lithuania, Azerbaijan, Israel, Kuwait, uh, UAE. I'm probably missing some places here.
Wow, you've almost
Estonia.
been
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah. I've been opportunity to go to a lot of places. Definitely blessed.
Definitely blessed. So Baltimore was one of the epicenters of the Black Lives Movement. How has that affected your music? That question is from James.
Thanks for the question, James. Well, out here, something that a lot of people don't know, especially outside of United States, is Baltimore City, my home. We're one of the few cities in America where the black population outweighs any other color. So in our city, 60% of our population is black. So we really got a chocolate city for real. In Baltimore. But it plays into my part because Baltimore City is also known for our severe poverty, violence, drug abuse, and just overall struggle. When a lot of people think of Baltimore, they never think of the beautiful things in Baltimore. They never say the most kindest things a lot of times. So a part of my thing is showing the beauty of my city. A lot of people that live in Baltimore are what I call blue collar workers, where they just get their hands dirty. They work hard every day to provide for their family. And that's what a lot of my music is about, relatable music for everybody. The people that work hard every day, getting up to provide so their kids can have a great life in the future. So to me, that's what Baltimore is, just hardworking people trying to make it every day.
Great. Okay, so your name, Wordsmith. How did you come? Like, what made you decide to call yourself Wordsmith? What's the history behind it?
It came out of the blue. I was writing this verse one day, long, long time ago. And I remember I said the word blacksmith in it, and it was one of those moments like, oh, and it shot out in my head. And I said, blacksmith. And I thought about just how I do music and how I put words together and how my words have meaning. And I just thought about sticking that word in front of the smith. And I remember I looked up what blacksmith is and how they, can build, instruments, build iron, they can shape different things. And I said, that's what I do with music. You shape songs, you shape the way people think sometimes, you shape the way your music can impact people. And that's how kind of I built Wordsmith. I felt it defined me, as a
Mhm.
as a person, but also an artist.
Great. A question from the audience. How different from inspiring others do you use hip hop music to empower youth to leverage themselves in street entrepreneurship to improve their socioeconomic development?
For this question, I would say, and I can speak on my city heavy with this because we have that heavy poverty out there. A lot of these kids are looking for something to tie themselves to, whether
Mm,
that's a program, whether that's a newfound passion, whether that's a gift that they have unlocked as they've been going through life. And one thing I see in my city, and I know it is in a lot of different parts of Africa as well, is that structure is not there to give the kids what they need, whether that's music, whether that's teaching them to be a great teacher, to get in politics, whatever, and so forth. You got to have that structure built. And so out here in my city, we're trying to build a structure so our youth is not just standing on the corner every day. The
mm,
first thing on their mind isn't getting up and let me see where I can sell drugs and make quick money. We want them getting up and saying, let me look at this sheet music. Let me pick up this violin. Let me pick up this microphone. Let me
mm,
go to this recording studio and learn how to record. We want to change the way they're thinking. And while we're changing the way they're thinking and giving them purpose in life, when you got purpose in life, you're less likely to go out and cause problems or get in trouble. But also on the flip side, it will help the police force. You got kids occupied doing what they're passionate about or occupied learning music. Those are less kids that are out on the streets that you're trying to chase and get off the streets. So I look at it as a double effect. We're helping both sides. The youth, we're also helping those that are supposed to protect us as well.
mm. Cool. A question from Donald. What's been the key element that's helped you navigate through to where you are today?
Having purpose. I talk about it all the time, but I'm so driven every day because I just rise with a purpose every morning of I want to get as much done as possible. I really have this perspective of every day's not given. This could be my last day, so I don't want to have any regrets if this ends up being my last day. So I literally get up and say, all right, I have my purpose for myself today. I have my
Mhm.
purpose for my kids. But my third purpose every day is who can I help? That could be giving advice to somebody. That could just be hopping on a meeting and giving advice to somebody. That could be seeing someone who is struggling out in the streets, just needs help carrying something. All those things every day you should be thinking about. What's my purpose, what I want to accomplish, but who can I help today as well?
Great. So Mercy is wondering if you have any favorite musician or song from Tanzania, or any friendships with Tanzanian artists, and if you wish or plan to do a collaboration with one of Tanzanian artists, if there are any.
I would definitely love to. I don't know any, so please, any suggestions are welcome. But that's one of the parts of, we're in this virtual world. Not that you can't collaborate, but when you actually, if I was actually in Tanzania, one of the things we get to do is actually collaborate with different artists there. And that's one
Mhm.
of the best parts of this whole exchange is the cultures of music coming together. Normally when it's live, you would have an artist from that country perform, on a song of mine, and then I would return the favor and perform on a song of that artist from
Mhm.
Tanzania. So we're missing out on that aspect a little bit, but if you have any suggestions, I would love to work with a Tanzanian artist. My last program was with Panama, and I'm actually working with a break boy right now that's putting together a music video for one of my songs. So we can still work in this virtual world.
Mm. So, have you ever collaborated with an African musician?
Several actually. I have a couple of records that I did with some, and even on my new album that's done, I have a couple of artists that are from Africa. Actually, two that are from Cote d'Ivoire.
Oh, nice. Okay, Julius is asking, most of the perception of Africa in a Western world is negative. How do you see Africa considering the fact that you are originating from here?
I mean, one, it's home, and just looking at it from the American perspective, this is what we struggle with as African Americans here is we don't truly know where we're from. Think about what I'm saying to you. Those who are from Africa and you live there all your life, you say, this is my home. I know where I'm from. This is where my family's at. From the African American perspective, we say, well, where is our true home? I could be from Angola. I could be from Namibia. I could be from Tanzania. We don't truly know that information because we don't have that information from our ancestors. We don't truly know when and how we got here besides the stories of slaves coming over in the ships.
Mm-hmm.
So I war with that of, especially as I get older and I'm so much involved in the Black Lives Matter movement and just so awoke in this America that we lived in that still is unfair in a lot of ways. You just question, I know I'm from here, but what is my true history? And that's what I just want a lot of African Americans to think about in this day and age is what is my true history? Where did I truly come from? We know it's Africa, but where in Africa? So I'm anxious to continue to gain knowledge about my homeland.
Okay, a question from Caroline. Do you use your music to educate people on how Black history does not start with slavery? And if yes, how?
Definitely, that's the power that musicians have is we can put out a song and it says 1,000 words. We can make you have fun to that record while putting knowledge into your head, or we can make you sit down and just say, let me sit down and really listen to this song and really hear everything this artist is trying to say. Using music, you can make one statement that gets put out to the masses just by releasing that record. By releasing a record, you can gain supporters that believe in the same message you have, or even people that maybe are, afraid to speak up. They might look for leaders that share the same message of them as them, but are willing to speak up and put that message out there to public. So I use my message to be blunt, to say what I want to say and my beliefs, because I know there's other people out there that have my same beliefs as well.
Thank you. That was really great. So we're going to ask you to play a couple of songs for us, and then we're going to come back to a Q&A session.
All right, sounds good. Let's go. Fresh out of college, all y'all acknowledge. Shine my diploma, my aroma is polished. Got a job, feeling dealing my skill set. I'm high on the spot and I'm not paying no bills yet. On the low, booking, looking for more loot, a vision of an office. Me wearing a black suit, night shift, 12-hour grind. I define working hard. The perks, they come in time. Father at home, giving my advice. This world is full of greatness. Make this your invite. Year 2, I be moving up the ranks. Extra money in the bank. New car, full tank. Hold up. I remember back when, remember back then. I could barely even pay my phone. Now I'm coming home. Hey, I got a promotion. Let's go. I see a bonus in my check, I would've never guessed. Going from that upper deck, new job, better rep. Bought a house, not the one to go and brag. Kids full of smiles and they holla, I'm a great dad. Leave my mark in this world, I do it steadily and readily available. Love to leave a legacy. 3 months, know where I'm gonna be. Close to the top, I'll be owning your company. Years later when I'm old and I made it big, I can tell my story to a whole bunch of grandkids. I didn't love and lived and made mistakes. Come full circle, this song I dedicate. Hold up. I remember back when, remember back then. I can barely even pay my phone. Now I'm coming home. Yeah, I got a promotion. Let's go. Yeah, I got a promotion. Everybody on the grind, put it in the time. Trying to turn a little bit of nothing into something. Man, we did the work, now watch it come in. Worry about to cash them checks. Cash that check, better cash that check. Married with kids, better cash that check. Single with kids, better cash that check. Let's tell them one more time. Cash that check, better cash that check. Got your degree, better cash that check. Got a new job, better cash that check. You know I did. Come on. Tanzania. See, we celebrating a promotion in life. It doesn't always have to be about money. Hey, I got a promotion. Let's go. Hey, I got a promotion. Let's go. Let's go. Yes. Come on. All right, y'all, let's end this song the way we started it with that clap. Here we go. Give me my victory. I see the misery. You'll never riddle me. Literally, let it be. I be that killer bee. Let me see. This is my pedigree. Readily running my victory melody. Measure me now when a man is my enemy. This is my remedy. Never know arrogant energy. Let it free. Let it be. Now you unruly, you never will move me. My life is a movie, don't try to go screw me. I'm never no newbie, just call me a vet and respect and salute me. Pull pulling no punches, I'm blunt and that's it. This is my knowledge, I call it my clips. This is my brain on the truth when I spit. Drunk in them lies, you like in the sip. Sound the alarm, who ready to start? Blood in the streets, who ready to march? Give me the sound of that victory harp. Moving like seals, it's real after dark. I got a hunger for change, hunger for killing the pain. Saying their names, never in vain. This is America, time to reclaim. Give me my victory, we on the way to rewriting our history. Give me my victory, we on the way to defeating our enemies. Give me my victory, we on the way to rewriting our history. Give me my victory, we on the way to defeating our enemies. Give me my victory, I see the imagery, I see assemblies, I see the vote, and I hope that they'll let it be. We need a prayers, do it immediately. People, we need the key. This is democracy or this hypocrisy. Look at this poverty. Hold up, real talk. Government mocking me, probably they watching me living too properly, living my prophecy. No knocking me. This is my truth and it's not no anomaly. I be the nominee, honestly, I'm going hard, better follow me in this economy. I'm a commodity, yeah, you can copy me, this is my property. Call it my colony, positive policy, people, you gotta be ready to fight for some things that you miss. Give us some trust and that's something to fix. Bridging the gap when we stacking a brick. We want our rights and we know they exist. I got a hunger for change, hunger for killing the pain. Saying their names, never in vain. This is America, time to reclaim. Give me my victory, we on the way to rewriting our history. Give me my victory, we on the way to defeating our enemies. Give me my victory, we on the way to rewriting our history. Give me my victory, we on the way to defeating our enemies. I live for the good days. I'll dream of the great nights. I live for the ones I lost. Slide is up, we gonna meet in the afterlife. It's all sacrifice. I got the appetite to be a better man. Let's unite. My story like a motion picture, bittersweet like shots of liquor. Let me take the pain, my skin is thicker. We one blood, I'm not pulling triggers. All love and yo, here's the kicker. Working hard, we never gold diggers. Anybody with a poster, you wanna protest, please no posers. You better man up, never roll over. You gotta help, no freeloaders. Everybody is a moment in time, but they dig deep in sacrifice. Everybody is a moment in time, but it really could use good advice. Everybody is a moment in time, but things changing overnight. Open up and let me in. Open up and let's begin. Let's go. Open up, let me feel the space that you got. I wanna feel the space that you got. I wanna feel the space that you got. Open up, let me feel the space that you got. I wanna feel the space that you got. I wanna feel the space that you got. Open up, let me feel that space that you got when you lost hope. I live for the troops, live for the kids we call our youth, live for the fam we call our roots, and live for the friends we kept in the loop. In search of a calling, looking for a gift never seen too often. I'm that action for that talking, leave that legacy for that coffin. Let me feel the space I wanna liberate, put you on a path of love, so let me dictate over your heart. Quick to penetrate, shake the bird and then drop the dead weight. Recover, don't think it's too late, you never locked down. I ain't talking inmates, I'm talking purpose. Here to relate, stick to your faith, time to dedicate. Everybody is a moment in time, but they did deep in sacrifice. Everybody is a moment in time, but they really could use good advice. Everybody is a moment in time, but things changing overnight. Open up and let me in. Open up and let's begin. Let's go. Open up, let me feel the space that you got. I wanna feel the space that you got. I wanna feel the space that you got. Open up, let me feel the space that you got. I wanna feel the space that you got. I wanna feel the space that you got. Open up, let me feel that space that you got when you lost hope. Open up, let me feel the space that you got. I wanna feel the space that you got. I wanna feel the space that you got. Open up, let me feel the space that you got. I wanna feel the space that you got. I wanna feel the space that you got. You should know that I will never fail you. You should know that I will never fail you. Let's go. Let's go. You should know that I won't ever fail.
No one. Thierry.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was a great performance. A couple of questions from our audience. Daniel is asking, did you, sorry, can you scroll? Yes. Oh, did you go to college to learn about music or just find yourself doing it?
A mixture of both. I took music some while I was in college, along with theater arts as well. So I kind of combined them both, and also took mass communication. So I had a double major. But to be honest with you, most of my musical knowledge I've gained along the way through experience, doing
Mhm.
my own research, and just being around other professional musicians. It's always good to get that school teaching, but just being real with you, sometimes it's good just learning from other musicians who are constantly out on the road, constantly involved in the music industry on a regular basis. Sometimes they give you the better knowledge.
Very true. Um, Caroline is asking, do you use your music to educate people on? Oh, I think we already answered this questions. Okay, another question from James. Who are your personal inspirations, historical or current people that we should read up on?
Oh, this is a big question right here. Come on, James. Well, definitely, there was someone that was near and dear to my heart. Well, there's actually two. One is Elijah Cummings, and one is John Lewis. Elijah Cummings, I actually have a personal story. He was one of our representatives out here in Maryland who
Mhm.
passed away last year. Elijah Cummings, I remember I was very young and I got fired from this job unjustly. And I didn't know what to do. And a friend of mine said, "Why don't you send a letter into Elijah Cummings? He normally responds." I said, "All right." I didn't think it was going to happen. I remember I sent in a letter, and no lie, a week later, he sent a letter back to me, gave me some advice, hooked me up with a lawyer on top of that. And long story short, I won my case thanks to Elijah Cummings. So, though I never actually got to sit in front of him and meet him,
Mm.
just the fact that we exchanged letters and he took action once I was able to tell him, "Hey, this is what happened. I feel like it was unjust." He saw it was unjust, set me up with a good lawyer that was able to fight my case, and I won my case. So he's someone that I look up to because he has people knocking at his doors all the time when he was alive. He was a congressman. So
Mhm.
imagine how busy his day was. And he gets one of my letters from, shoot, I was 21 at the time, a young kid who probably didn't even explain himself all that well, but he was able to see through the lines and help me. So I always keep a good place in my heart for him.
That's awesome. Amy Lynn is asked, well, saying and asking, we recognize that there are so many struggles and issues today with regards to combating racism and recognizing different parts of our history. Recognizing difficult parts of our history, is there anything about the current conversation that gives you hope about our current trajectory?
Yeah, definitely. That we see other countries supporting this movement. You know, when George Floyd passed away, and I would say not just America, the whole world got woke to the things that we knew about that has been going on pretty much all of our lives. But it
Mm.
was that moment, that pivotal moment in history where everybody was awoke and they said, "Whoa, this is a real issue. A black life isn't considered the same as a white life, you know? So this is an issue right here." To see other countries marching in the streets when they don't even have the same issue we have in America. But
Mm.
to see them marching in the streets, banding together to say we support the black community in America, man, my heart has been so filled because I know so many kids and so many colleagues around the world to hear from them and them say, "How you doing? How are you handling everything that's going on?" You see how big the impact is even outside of America. So it's just beautiful to see that everybody is wide awoke now. They realize this is an issue and they realize it's something that, hey, if we're going to move it forward, we got to be out here and push the effort and keep the conversation alive.
Okay. Agnes is asking, in your outreach to the community, do you work with people who are covering alcoholics or drug users? And do you discuss their strategies for recovery? Does that influence your music?
I would say right now I'm not as heavy into that side. When I
Okay.
was doing a little bit of work with my city hall out here where I live at, I was trying to work with programs. We have a really bad opioid problem here in Baltimore City. So I was trying to find other alternatives to help, people not get hooked on opiates when, their doctor starts prescribing it to them because they've had a bad injury, or they just decide, hey, I'm going to get it, on the black market and use it to get high. Trying to find other methods, other ways that we can heal ourselves, whether it's herbal elements, whether it's cannabis elements, whether it's, I want to say, traditional medicine elements from, I would say, Indian reservations, or even if it's home remedies, just finding different ways besides just this opioid epidemic that captured so many of our youth and taking their lives away. So it's definitely something I want to tackle. It's definitely something that I have proposals on. But my focus now is just trying to get this music school opened up in Baltimore City so we can do more of these broadcasts like you're seeing today.
Great. Caroline is asking, what is your perception about swear culture in Black music? Do you think it plays a small part of disrespect or dishonor towards Black folks, or do you think it is linguistic creativity?
It's a little of both. You know, in the Black community, a lot of what you hear in our music is how we talk in the Black community every day. But I think what gets lost in that is artists don't realize that, yeah, you're talking like you normally do in the community, but that song is going out to all different genres, all different races, all different parts of the world. So you got young kids who might love your song, but they're
Mm,
saying words in the song that they should not be saying, and that's because of that particular artist. And we have to take ownership of what we put out in our music. And I don't think, especially in hip hop, artists don't really do that too much. They're not really thinking, all right, if I say this, who's this going to impact? Or if I say this, is this going to make someone go do something they shouldn't be doing? I think that reflection part has to be there more. I'm very conscious when I release a song of what am I saying? If someone hears this, is it going to cause them to do something bad, or is it going to cause them to do something positive?
mm.
So our hip hop culture, we more, I would say, put out negativity, unfortunately, but it's also stemming from our struggle in the Black communities as well. So it's 50-50.
Great. For those of you who are just tuning in, our program is an evening with Wordsmith. Right now we're in a Q&A session, so if you have any questions for Wordsmith, please write them up on the chat box. Um, Another question for you. Have you ever considered a career in politics?
Most definitely. I mean, that's that's the end game for me. I've had actually several people that have brought it up to me and said you should get into politics, and it's definitely something I want to do. It's
Mm-hmm.
just I have to finish this music game I'm in right now,
Mm-hmm.
and getting the accomplishments that I want to get done musically. But also I got new artists that I signed, so I want them get them into a position where they're self sufficient, they're living off their passion. Once I can do those things, and I definitely want to shift over to politics. I got the energy and fire for it.
We're waiting to see you up on those political stages.
Can't wait.
Another question from Charles. Your NGO, Rise with a Purpose, provides assistance to homeless people, community-based music projects, and culture exchange. I'm more interested with homeless. How many people have you helped so far? Do you also assist them with food? Do you have any plan or idea on how you can empower them economically as you to assist them forever?
Sure. I work with a company here in Baltimore City called Project Place, and what I love about their organization is not only do they help the homeless have a place to stay, they help them get jobs again. And I think that's the second part of this game when you're working with the homeless is, yeah, you can give them shelter, but you also got to provide them with the tools and the knowledge or the motivation again to get back on their feet and get a job so they're not on the street and you don't have what's called this cycle of homelessness. That's kind of the model that I'm trying to take with my nonprofit is not just feed them, but also, hey, here's some job opportunities. Here's some job interviews that you can go to. A lot of times when I donate clothes, I've donated suits of mine, dress shoes, dress pants, button ups, because I'm thinking about, hey, though this person is getting shelter, they're going to be interviewing at some point in the
Mm-hmm.
future for another job. So they're going to need to look good. They're going to need to look professional.
Right.
And so with my nonprofit, Rise with a Purpose, we'll be working on that aspect. But a big aspect we're working on is we want to feed the homeless with food from around the world. So let me explain that a little bit more. We're doing what's called a community lunch line, where it's a lunch line where the homeless can feel a part of the community, not segregated and on their own, but this community lunch line where we're going to collect food from all different cultures, Indian food, Chinese food, soul food. You go down the line, Spanish foods. So we're homeless. When they have these community lunch lines, they have an opportunity to feel normal and feel regular and say, you know what, I'm going to try this Indian food today. Or you know what, I'm going to try this Mexican food today. I think a part of what we do to the homeless
Mm.
is we shun them a lot, or we see them and walk past them and act like they're not a part of our society. They're very much a part of our society. So part of what I want to do is make them feel a part of society again. And part of that is food. We all know you can sit at a dinner table, smile, laugh, share stories. What better way to do that than have the community be there with you? So I'm glad for that question because it's very big on my heart to help the homeless.
Okay. Another question. How are you able to continue your outreach and work with the homeless during the pandemic? These are trying times.
Yeah, it's been very tough. I haven't been able to do my lunch lines the way I want to because of the
Mhm.
pandemic. So I've actually started working with a company called Meals on Wheels. I don't know if they have it in other outside of America, but I know it's in several states here. And Meals on Wheels actually takes food directly to the homeless or to, I would say, struggling families who are still in homes, but maybe can't get food all the time and are
Mhm.
struggling to put food on the table. Meals on Wheels brings food to them. So I'm actually trying to work with them to incorporate my idea of having food from different cultures and then have Meals on Wheels be the ones to deliver it.
That's really awesome. Mike is asking, what advice can you give to entrepreneurs about how to overcome adversity?
I think you got to have a hustler mentality. You got to realize there's a lot of people out here with your dream. A lot
Mm.
of people share the same dreams, and it's not always your talent and your skill set. That's a part of it. But I can tell you just from my journey, it's your determination and how motivated you are to be successful every day, not every other day, not at the end of the week, not, hey, I think I'm going to give my all this month. You literally have to be consistent every day of, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. That's how things come to fruition in this lifetime. And I'm speaking from experience because I've had doors that open constantly for me. And I'm not surprised by the doors opening because I know what I put into this every single day I get up. I'm trying to work emails, work the phone calls, reach out to contacts, and just make as much as I can happen for myself, but also the other people that I work with.
Thank you. Any last questions from our audience? We have a couple of minutes. Okay, another question from James. I meant this is an easy question, but it might not be. Better MC, Q-Tip or Fife Dog? Favorite tribe called Quest Song.
Five Dogs, the better MC. All right. And Check the Rhyme is my favorite song from A Tribe Called Quest.
There you have it, James. Okay, Julius is asking, who are you rooting between Chiefs versus Buccaneers? I hope
Yeah, you
spelled
got it right.
I got
Yep,
it
you
right.
did.
Yay!
You got it right. I'm going for the Buccaneers because Tom Brady, who I couldn't stand growing up, okay? But as you get older, you realize this man is really the GOAT. This man is 43 years old, went to a new team, didn't have an off season, had to deal with the pandemic, new teammates, new
Mhm.
offense, and he's in the Super Bowl. Get that man the trophy.
Okay, a question from Mike. What is your musical process? Like, how do you come up with a song? Does it start with an idea, a lyric, a melody, or what?
Always starts with a concept. I'm a very fast songwriter. I normally write a song within 1 to 3 days max. So normally, once the concept is locked in my mind, it just leads the rest of the song. But I go in this order: concept, then I figure out the chorus, then I do my verses. And the reason I do in this order is once the concept's in place, you know what direction you want to go with the record. Once the chorus is in place, which is the part of the song people are going to listen to first, once they hear a record, you got your record locked. Because after that, it's just you putting your message through your verses in there, which is going to be the very last thing that people learn a lot of times. So, concept, chorus, verses, that order.
James says you are the GOAT.
Thank you, James.
Okay, I believe we don't have any further questions from our audience. If there is, please type it up really quick. We are almost running out of time. Um, Wordsmith, this was very good. You are inspirational. I am inspired. Could you just remind us, like, where could we find your music? What platforms?
Sure, and just want to thank everybody for the platform today. This was a great experience, a new experience even for me. And I know this is the first time you guys have kind of tried this. So thank
Yep,
you,
yes.
for offering this to me and giving me an opportunity to do this with you. If you want to look me up, it's real easy to find me. You can look me up at wordsmithmusic.com. It's my official website. On my social networks, you can just look up Wordsmith, except for Instagram, it's Wordsmith Music. And if you want to reach out to me, my website's wordsmith at wordsmithmusic.com. If you just have any musical questions, business questions, people reach out to me all the time. I'm more than willing to give out the information. So just be free to reach out. Please check me out. Hope you love some of the music you heard today. And I hope to be in Tanzania at some point here as COVID starts to, let up little by little.
We can't wait to have you here. One last question from Caroline. Any recommendations on Black history documentaries or content?
That's a good one. Man, this is the one question you caught me off guard. We was about to leave. I had answers for everything, Carol, except for this one. Man, I'm going to ask Chris, do you have any recommendations for a good Black History Month movie at all to check out? It's called Black Klansman. It's on Netflix, right? All right. So my drummer, he said Black Klansman. It's a documentary or actual. Okay. Ku Klux Klan. All right. I need to check this out. So he said it's actually about a Black police officer who infiltrates the Ku Klux Klan.
What was the name?
If you know, Black Klansman.
Black Klansman.
Yeah,
Black
it's on
Klansman.
Netflix.
Okay.
Yep.
It's
So
on
that
Netflix.
sounds good. I'm gonna have to check that out myself.
Sweet. Well, any final inspirational words from you, Wordsmith?
Just my phrase that I live by: rise with a purpose every day. If you keep that in your mind, trust me, you'll have a very fruitful life. You'll be able to give opportunities to other people, and before you leave this place, you'll be able to do what I call exhaust your soul. You don't want to leave here with no regrets. So exhaust your soul. Give everything you got every day. Rise with a purpose.
Thank you so much. So I'd like to welcome James for any final words. Thank you so much, Wordsmith. This was a very great performance and session.
All right. Sorry to put you on the spot there, Wordsmith, asking you all those questions. And I can't argue with you, although my favorite Tribe song was always I Left My Wallet in El Segundo. But anyways.
First hits. First album right there. Okay.
That's right. That's right. But the Low End Theory, solid record.
That's the classic. You already know.
It's one of the few albums that you can just listen from beginning to end and you don't need to fast forward anything. I remember listening to that on the tape over and over.
I'm glad you said tape because I have the Low End Theory on tape still. So I know we from the same era, James.
That's right. That's right. I consider myself old, but I won't place that label on you. So, all right. Thank you, Wordsmith. This was great. Thank you to your crew there that helped out. The concert was wonderful. I think I speak for my team. This was a great opportunity, and we really do hope to do this again. We really do hope to have you here in Tanzania at some point. We'd love to see you. And you already have a small, but I think pretty solid fan base built up in Tanzania. So with that, thank you to everybody that came tonight. Great questions. It was a great conversation that we had. And have a great night, and let's do this again soon.
James, if I could just real quick before we go, I just wanted to introduce everybody real quick. This is my drummer producer, Chris Carroll. If you could just give it up for him. And I just want to introduce the guys in the studio here. We're broadcasting out of Jam 24/7. So if you could just give it up real quick for Andre Corbett, for Tom Watson, and Larry Scotton. They do such a great job to present these shows.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I believe we've reached to an end to our session today. Thank you so much, Wordsmith. We look forward to having you in Tanzania someday. Thank you to the audience for joining in. I'll be happy to say we'll see you next time. Have a good night, everybody.